I saw some opportunities to grow and get better in terms of protecting the football. I saw a lot of poise, maturity, competitive spirit. I saw someone that, was efficient in the passing game. Was able to make, opening throw, shot down the field. That was awesome to see. And someone that really has the ability to put stress on defenses by extending plays, scrambling to pick up first downs, and being utilized, strategically in quarterback run game.
Coach, Braden Turner, Evan Smith, and Robert Fitzgerald are three guys who have really earned their keep on this team in past years on special teams. For them to come in and make such an impact on the defensive end, what does that really say about the culture of development that you guys have on this team?
Exactly what you just said. Developmental program, everyone's a special teams player. There's transferable skills. Coach Creighton talks about it all the time. Special teams are your proving ground, and to see Evan Smith, the growth that young man has had, since spring ball, like incredible. The weight that he's put on, the confidence that he's showing, for him to come up with that interception, like awesome. And, Robert Fitzgerald, the fall camp that he had, to see him come up in such a critical situation, like I couldn't be more proud and excited for those guys. And Braden Turner, that position is not an easy position to play. It's a critical role within our defense, and for him to step up and play the way that he's playing, really proud of those three young men individually. And, we talk about next man up. We got to develop the entire roster. We got 111 young men that just got to keep getting better every day. And those guys did that for the last couple of years. Maybe didn't, like their role last year, but now it's their time to shine, and it's so cool to see them do that this afternoon.
Overall, what did you think of your defense today? And as your offense was kind of getting things together, how nice was it to have your defense playing that well and kind of shutting them down?
Yeah. No, we're really proud of our defensive effort, proud of our ability to, be super efficient against the run game. Proud of our ability to get after the quarterback. I think we even left a couple opportunities out there in terms of, setting those guys back. I think there's certainly some areas for us to continue to improve and some areas that we can continue to clean up. I think as an overall team, you could sense that momentum in the second half where we're starting to wear our opponent down. And, our defense needs to continue to understand when we get that sense, man, 3 and out, take away, we need to give it back to the offense. Offense needs to go put somebody away. But I'm thrilled with the way that we play defensively, and the thing that's going to be fun is we'll go back and watch the film and recognize that there's areas that we can continue to grow.
David, I know film will tell you more, but when you look at the defensive line, 4 sacks, it held 40 yards rushing. What was one way that you saw that they kind of dominated? What's one way you saw them take over?
Yeah, I think our guys did a good job, number one, in the run game of getting off of blocks. They were condensing gaps, which just makes it easier tackles for themselves and those playing behind them. In terms of sacks, one thing that we talk about a lot, and Coach Smith does such a great job of this, but everyone has this impression that sacks come from an elite pass rusher or one guy winning, and that pressures can come that way, but sacks come from good coverage on the back end, forcing the quarterback to hold the ball, and 4 guys or 5 guys, whoever's rushing, understanding how to build a pocket. It's the pass rush mechanics of that are the ultimate team game. Sometimes you have to own your leverage to allow someone else to get a sack, and for us to be able to do that in week 1 against a veteran quarterback and a good offensive line, that's something we're excited to build off of.
Coach, you mentioned Mike Wright's ability to extend plays earlier. He was excellent in the run game today, led the team in rushing. What sort of dimension do you hope that adds to the offense if you continue on this season?
Yeah, the thing that I think we got to be really aware of is, in terms of designed run for the quarterback, Mike's a competitor. So, if you give him gray area, he's probably going to pull the ball and put it in his own hands. And that's something that we got to do a great job of managing. We are not going to, identify as an offense as a primary quarterback run team. It's got to be strategic. It's got to be well thought out. But certainly in certain situations, it can be an incredible weapon. The thing that I want to make sure we continue to see, and you could see it there at the end of the game, is just Mike's ability to be smart in terms of moving the chains in a scramble situation, extending plays that we saw a big play to Thomas Gordon on, and then just being really smart. You could see it at the end of the game. He picks up the first down. He knows it's downtime once we pick up a first down, and he slides, protecting himself. Really excited to see him continue to grow. But again, from a defensive perspective, those things are tough to defend.
Will you try to articulate how different it is for you from a year ago today, essentially? I'm thinking after the Rutgers game, didn't go well, you never won a game, let alone had a season under your belt, and I'm sure you were kind of swimming in it all. And now, a year later, you win an opener. I assume you're more kind of in command of the way things are going, but how different is it for you?
It's dramatically different, and there's a lot of factors in that, as we all know. But I think the biggest thing today was not calling plays. There were times that honestly it was like, gosh, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with myself. Like you naturally drift towards I should be talking to the defensive staff, but where I really try to be intentional is take notes. Interject where I felt like I was bringing value without making those guys get out of their rhythm, and then just trying to be really mindful of how we manage the clock, how we manage situations, and making sure that I'm doing everything in my power to put our team in a position to succeed and maximize and win in the margins. But it's definitely different. But I'm excited to continue to grow in that space and also continue to find areas that I can even bring more value to all three phases of the game.
Coach, talk about offseason. The offensive line was going to be a work in progress. Today, no sacks. What did you feel of their performance today, just in terms of pass protection more than anything?
Proud of those guys, and the thing I'll say, really proud of those guys up front. But the thing that never gets mentioned when it comes to sacks is the ultimate weapon against protecting against sacks is getting the ball out on time. A quarterback that understands what it looks like to get the ball out on time can be the ultimate asset to himself and the entire offense. I think that comes from, convicted play calling, great teaching from the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator, and then just a quarterback that's convicted in making decisions, but cannot take anything away from the job our O-line did. And going into next week, that Duke defensive line is going to it's a talented group. Excited for our group to continue to build off of today.
Coach, in terms of the offseason position camp battles, we talked a lot about that Mike linebacker spot. Mackey Ryan got a lot of play today. What did you make of his performance? Finished with some sacks and tackles for loss, was all over the field, especially in the first half.
Yeah, so awesome to see Mac out there. He embodies who we are in a program and as a defense. So passionate, plays so hard, student of the game. I think Mac possesses a lot of the qualities that Bryce Gallagher did from a standpoint of Bryce Gallagher made all 10 other guys on the field better because he was out there. And I think Mac is really starting to step up in that leadership role and take command of the defense. Excited for him and, continuing to utilize Braden Bruss, but Mac definitely looked comfortable out there today.
Yeah, and then Coach, you have Duke coming into town next Friday. You've already mentioned how talented they are. And you also mentioned how you guys have a lot to work on. What are you hoping to specifically work on as you head and face a team who has Malik Murphy at quarterback? They're going to put up some points. So I'm going to assume offensively is where you guys wanted to work on from today. So what exactly do you want to work on knowing you're facing a team like that?
Yeah, I think for us, on the offense side of the ball, it's going to be, just cleaning up some operational things. The first fumble that we have, we're not aligned right, and then the snap comes up early. I liked Coach Lujan's call down near the goal line to tempo and try and get the ball in the end zone, but we don't take a clean snap. Some communication things that can get cleaned up, but all things that, too many times today we had negative plays which put us behind the chains. Offensively, we're designed to go from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 6 to 3rd and 2, and then all of a sudden offenses start to come up and now we create explosive plays. And then defensively, just some communication things. Duke's going to do a great job of tempoing us and trying to put us on our heels, just making sure that we can play. Today, we did not play our cleanest game. It's getting all 11 guys on the same page every single play. And regardless if there's a check made by somebody that's not the right check, who cares? Just get all 11 on the same page. I'm really confident that when our group does that, they're a pretty stingy group.
Coach, Coco lipped off after that late return. I know Robert Fitzgerald made a great play, but it was kind of in replacement. What's Coco's kind of injury status right
Just cramping. So he was in a position where he was fully available at the end of the game, just with them tempo, and we kept Fitz out there, but Coco was just dealing with some cramps.
Coach, it seems like Bryce and Mike have developed an early rapport, and Bryce led you guys in receiving today with 91 yards. How key has his veteran presence been for you guys at this early juncture in the season?
Yeah, no, it's been huge. I mean, Bryce is he's just such a internally competitive individual, really hard on himself. If he doesn't have a perfect practice, he's probably ornery. Like, it's just, but it's because he's hyper competitive and he wants to be the best. I love to see him and AJ and Mike and CJ Johnson, like just the way that those guys communicate. Frank Covey, those guys care so deeply. It's going to be exciting to see how that quarterback room and wide receiver room continues to just mesh and really get a certain rhythm to them. But you started to see some of it today, and Bryce is certainly, as a captain and a leader, a huge part of that. Thanks everyone.
We'll go right into questions. On the left, we got Evan Smith. On the right, we got Robert Fitzgerald. If you have a question, go ahead, raise your hand, get my attention. Chris.
Robert, walk us through that interception. Kind of what did you see how the play developed?
Well, they were running wrap into the boundary. They hit us with that 2 plays before. They got us on it. I recognized it and was able to jump the route.
Evan, you spent a lot of times in the previous seasons working through the special teams. Today was one of your first big opportunities as a corner. What did it mean to you just to be out there with the defense and then be able to come away with one of those picks?
It meant a lot. I mean, I've put a lot of work in since I've gotten here. I've learned from a lot of great people. So, I mean, to get the opportunity, been dreaming for it, been praying for a long time. So, just always wanted the opportunity. And throughout camp, those opportunities always came, and we always capitalized on it. So I was pretty confident coming into this game that, we'd get one, and that's what happened.
Guys, hi. Shakia Taylor, Chicago Tribune. I actually have a stadium question for you. Did you take a moment while you were out there and kind of look out? And if you did, would you see what was the vibe like? How did you enjoy that view?
I took a moment before the game and I sat on the bench for about 10 minutes and kind of took the scenery in, and it was surreal just to see the progress of the stadium throughout summer and how it was built. And I knew it was going to be a big crowd today, so it was a fun environment, and I think we really enjoyed it, and it was just cool to just all take in at once.
Following up on that, did it feel any different than a game in a 90,000 seat stadium feels? Did it feel different to be out there?
I mean, I would say, in my experience, when you're out there, you don't really hear the noise. It doesn't matter if there's 10 people there, 10,000, 100,000 people there. You're just playing football.
Yeah, second that.
This question is for either of you guys, but this offseason, you lost a few defensive backs to the transfer portal, or got hurt early in the season, wasn't able to play. Can you guys just kind of speak to the next man up mentality for the defensive back room?
Yeah, I think throughout the room, I think we just have a lot of confidence in all the guys there. We've all seen what each of us can do in practice through our preparation, and I think just every single guy in the room, when their number's called, that they're always going to be ready. We prepare like no one else, so I think that's a big advantage we have in our room.
This is for either or both of you. You guys held Miami to 5 of 14 on third downs. What do you credit that to, and how do you plan to keep being a good third down defense?
I would just say our coaches, Coach McGargle, Coach Hicks, they do a great job. Coach Barnett, they do a great job with helping us with formation recognition and allowing us to play fast and free and seeing stuff so we can go make plays on third down.
For Evan, you played some quarterback, or a lot of quarterback in high school. Did you feel like having experience on that side of the ball helps inform your play?
Absolutely. Just some things like in terms of recognition of plays, different formations, splits, releases, just little things like that you can kind of pick up going from that transition. But other than that, I mean, it's just you had to put the work in, But coming here, I learned from a lot of great corners. So just take bits and pieces of their game, try to form into what Evan would be like at corner, and yeah.
Robert, I saw you on kick return throw on the 46 jersey to get out there. Why is it important for you, even with everything else you're doing, to still be out there on special teams and contributing in those roles as well?
I mean, I just love this team. I'm gonna do anything I can to help us win. If that's to put on a different jersey so that Joe Hyman can go return kicks, whatever. So.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank y'all.
No, that's fine.
Cool. On the left, Mike Wright. On the right, Bryce Kurtz. If you have a question, go ahead, raise your hand, get my attention. I'll start with you.
For Mike, Coach Braun said a little bit about halftime, those conversations just about, hey, we're moving the ball, just calm things down, we've been efficient. And how did you feel like things changed from the first half into the second? And how do you feel like it helped with the offense?
Yeah, I think as simple as we stopped beating ourselves. I mean, when you kind of go back, and of course we haven't watched the film yet, but I mean, we had those 2 costly turnovers. We had a 3-and-out in there, and at the end of the day, I mean, they were giving us the looks that we wanted. It was just about us capitalizing on it. And so, I mean, when you get into halftime, you all look around, and you just sitting there like, we're beating us. They're not beating us right now. And so, I mean, when you come out of halftime with that mindset and you put it out there on display, I mean, as you guys can see, I mean, the ball was moving.
So for both of you guys, I know you've been practicing at this stadium and all that kind of stuff, but what was it like kind of walking in there, kind of seeing the fans, kind of have the catwalk and that kind of stuff, and they kind of realizing like this is it, we're playing here?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely cool. I didn't expect it to be jumping as much as it was. It was definitely cool to just see, you know, whenever first thing I come into the stadium, I find my parents, and it was just cool to see all the parents up there. I feel like they were definitely making the most noise, which was cool to see. But even like the section were on our left whenever we first walked in, like I didn't expect that to be as there as it was. But yeah, it was just a really cool experience. It didn't feel like a practice field at all. It definitely felt like a game day field. It definitely got me hyped up for the games like I usually get. So I was happy with the outcome of what they've done with the field and everything like that.
Yeah, I'll piggyback just real quick. I mean, really just want to extend my appreciation for everybody who played a factor into the stadium. Behind closed doors, I mean, those construction workers out there in the summertime, I mean, guys, it gets hot out there. I mean, they were out there every day, you know, building that stadium. And so really just on behalf of the team, too, like, want to extend our appreciation and thanks to everybody who played a factor in that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mike, for you, had there been a lot of under center exchanges throughout preseason? You guys were mostly in pistol and gun. Is that just something that hadn't been gone through a lot and just in the flow of the game just didn't get a clean grip on it?
That's called being too excited to score a touchdown. We work quarterback center exchange every single day. I could sit here and argue with you all day about how I had the ball, but there's no point in doing that. But I mean, yeah, just understanding like when you get down in the red zone, I mean that pressure gets higher and higher. Being able to reset after every play, get the snap first, and then go score. That's as simple as that was.
Tempo of just
Oh no. That is completely Mike Wright dropping the ball, getting too excited like, oh shoot, I'm getting ready to score a touchdown on a quarterback sneak.
I mean, you did make up for that in the third quarter with a touchdown. It seems like you had a lot of success in the ground game, whether that was a design run on the read option or whether that was a scramble. What do you attribute that to?
The O-line. I mean, we had no sacks today. I mean, whenever you're getting that push, I mean, you have to respect our running backs. We have really, really great running backs. So a defensive coordinator gets put in a difficult spot. Like, do we want to focus on guys like Cam Porter, Caleb, and Joe, or do we want to put our eyes on the quarterback? I mean, you're not going to be right in the zone read game unless you load the box. Then that's when you got guys like Bryce Kurtz out there one-on-one. So, I mean, at the end of the day, without that push from the O-line, you don't get those opportunities. So, really proud of that group.
Can either of you guys just speak a little bit about what it feels like on the offensive end to have a defense who is able to hold them to 6 points, even like as you guys were mentioning, when you guys were turning the ball over a little bit or struggling at times, just when the defense stood up and what that means to you guys?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely like a relief because just knowing, like, whenever we come off the field off a bad snap, you know, I mean, off a bad drive, like, the defense is, like, I know that they're going to hold up. Like, we always talk about, like, threes don't get us beat, and that's the most that the defense is going to give. They're just going to give away 3 points at the end of the day. So just coming off the field, knowing, like, okay, the defense got it, like, what's our game plan going in the next drive? That's kind of what we focus on because, like, we know the defense just from, like, me being here 6 years, it's always been like that. The defense has always been really good. They've always, like, won us games for sure. So just really just knowing that they got it, and then whenever we're coming off the field on the sideline, just making sure that we have a plan going in the next drive.
Mike, hi. Just want to know what it feels like to go to a new school, be part of the country, start an opener, win the game. How do you feel coming out compared to how you felt going in?
Yeah, I think I use the word excited a lot, because that's what I was when Coach Braun called my phone the day after getting in the portal, presented with the opportunity to come in and compete for a job and help this team win. But I say this all the time. I mean, it's really easy to make that transition whenever you're surrounded by great people. We talked about that earlier. I mean, we have great men and women in this building. So they make that transition all the much easier. I mean, the city of Evanston in Chicago is beautiful. I mean, it's been great to me. My mom was here today, and she's staying the weekend now to go tour the city. So shout out to Mom. We're going to go driving around. But, I mean, I'm just excited to be here, and I feel amazing right now. I mean, we could be having a totally different conversation right now, but we got the win. That's the most important thing.
Is that Georgetown or something else?
Yeah, this is Justin Fields' high school jersey. We grew up in the Atlanta area together. Got a chance to work out with him a whole bunch, and almost served as a kind of like a big brother mentor. Stayed in contact with him throughout college, and so yeah, got his high school jersey on today. When I got here saying, "Hey, what do you like to do in Chicago?" He was gone off to Pittsburgh the day after, but I mean, yeah. But I mean that him and Simeon Kelly, I mean, that's his best friend, and so I mean, just having mentors and being around great people. I love being around great people. So.
Bryce, it seemed like the DBs were giving you about 10 yards of cushion to cover 4 look. Did you kind of look at that on film and say, hey, we can hit those quick out routes and just really move the chains more efficiently than maybe a deep post that Zach likes to run?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly what we were seeing. I mean, we kind of knew that going in. They like to play very soft coverage. So we had the idea, like, let's just keep hitting these out routes. Let's keep hitting these quick curl routes that we can take advantage of and just move down the field. And, I mean, like, once we started doing that, we started moving the ball and then scoring. So, yeah, I mean, to your point, like, that was definitely something that we saw and we took advantage of.
Mike, this was a school that you seriously considered as a high schooler, and again, when you entered the transfer portal first time, how much of a full circle moment was it for you to start your first game at Northwestern on the campus?
It was awesome. Like you said, full circle moment. I took an official here my freshman year, or coming out of my senior year of high school. So, I mean, it was exciting. I mean, my sisters were excited because their favorite color is purple. So it made the entire house happy when I said that I'm going to Northwestern. So excited.
That first play of the game, new offensive coordinator when the offense runs out there, you guys are able to connect on a nice deep pass. How did that feel just after a whole offseason of working to be able to kind of get that monkey off your shoulder, move the ball down the field, and just be able to drive the ball like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, that was a great feeling, obviously. I mean, we knew that was the first play going in for about a week now, so it was just sitting on my shoulders, like, the whole time. I was nervous. I definitely, like, didn't want to drop it. But, I mean, Mike put the ball in a great spot. I mean, we've been working that route for months now, so we kind of knew what it was going to be. We just had to execute, honestly.
For either of you guys, what was the difference in between the first half and the second half when it comes to the offense? I know you kind of mentioned the mistakes, but what's something that you kind of see as immediately as something you could clean up, especially not going just in the second half, but going forward?
Yeah, I'll start it off. Really just, I feel like we were just out of character in the first half. I mean, like, we were getting looks, and I feel like we were kind of just, sticking to what, like, we thought. But, like, once we really just started reading their defense and then just, us just making simple plays, like a 10-yard out route, like that's a pitch and catch, the routes on air right there. Once we just started doing that, I feel like the game became a lot easier, and that's whenever we started doing that in the second half. But
I mean, taking a deep breath, that's all we need to do. I mean, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. I mean, when you take a deep breath and realize you're moving the ball, just go execute the game plan, feel good about it.
For both guys, did you give yourselves a moment to take in the scenery, maybe before the game or during the game at all? You know, just noticing the lake, the boats, whatever. And also, what was it like playing in a stadium this small?
Yeah, no, I was there. I was saying before the game, I was actually really jealous. Like, I wanted to actually go tailgate because I saw how cool all that stuff looked back there. But I had to play. But no, it was great. I mean, just getting out there and seeing everybody, show up. I didn't see the boats. There was a lot of boats out there apparently, but I bet that's a cool scenic view to go look back at. But it was just amazing, honestly. I mean, it was everything that we've kind of talked about the past couple months, and then to finally see it out there and be able to play in front of all that was just amazing. So.
Yeah, and then as far as the size of the stadium, I mean, if we're playing in front of our fans, I don't really care how many are there. I mean, it could be one, it could be 50,000, it could be 100,000. I mean, if we're playing out there, our family and friends are out there. That's all that matters to us. So.
Couple more, Matt.
For Mike, this was the first game with you with Lujan as your OC. Also, first game where he's in your ear with in-helmet communication. What were those? Well, I guess it's not a conversation, but what was that experience like to be the starter for his first game at this level?
It was awesome. I thought it was really cool. If you guys want to go back and look at clips, I was talking back to him, realizing halfway through that he can't hear me. I'm saying yes, sir, throughout the entire game when he's talking in my ear. That's a really cool element that college football has brought, that and the iPads, and so it went smooth. We practiced that stuff. So.
You guys saying you like that stadium, and Mike, you said, you don't care how many people are watching. Wouldn't some college football players care? Wouldn't some guys say, it's not for me, I'm not playing this stadium? I mean, do you think that there was an element in there of you guys choosing to have a good attitude about it, good feeling toward it, and especially transferring in knowing there's no stadium?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, at the end of the day, the culture of this team is you can go put the ball in the middle of the street. We'll go out there and go play. Like I said, we are very much appreciative of all the fans, all the people who support us. But, our main job is to go out there and go play football and go win. We're going to play in some really big stadiums this year. We're going to play in some smaller stadiums this year. Our mindset is really not about who's watching. It's about going out there and executing the game plan to go getting a win. So,
yeah, just to kind of add to that, whenever I came to Northwestern, I didn't necessarily think about how many people I'm going to be playing in front of. I kind of thought about the coaches, the players, these facilities, obviously. What was going to make me a better football player. I kind of knew Northwestern didn't have a great show out, but that's not really something I was thinking about necessarily whenever I decided to play football here. So yeah.
Last one, Brendan.
Yeah, this is for both of you. 30 passes thrown today, none of them were drops. I know you guys said you've been working together for months, but what do you credit that synergy to, the fact that you guys already seem to have such a good connection, not just necessarily between the two of you, but with the entire receiving room?
Yeah, I would say with Mike, it's just I would say our off-the-field relationship. We're very just two dudes that just love to just kick it. We're always making jokes. I feel like we get along very well. He knows whenever I'm upset. I feel like I know when he's upset about something, and then we just communicate and we talk about it and we work it out. And then just working just after hours together. There's been a couple times when we've gone up and we just thrown simple slant routes, simple out routes, just to get the timing down and make sure we're on point at that aspect.
I paid him 2 catches. Extra catches next week to say that, so we're all good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.